Did you see Boyhood?
I did.
Thoughts? I love the film, but I know some people say that nothing really happened. Well, that's on the flip side, but there were little moments that were very real.
I
appreciate it.
The movie is almost 3 hours long. I need more than little moments. I also think that the naturalism is not naturalism, and I'm talking about, for example, dialogue that has a lot of vocalized pauses, ers and ums and you knows and I mean and so on. I think that Linklater believes this is like real, you know, and it is real. So what's the problem with that? Well, the problem with real, there are two problems with it. First of all, it's available in the streets for free. You don't have to buy a ticket and go into the movie theater, hire a babysitter, drive to the theater, park the car, pay for the ticket to see what's real. You can just step out into the street and see what's real. The other thing is that what's real is boring for the most part. I could tell you about my day today. Everything that I could tell you would be true and contemporary, you know, really, really new. What I had for breakfast, the route that I took to get over to the campus, the context of 3 meetings. This is a big meeting day, the first Wednesday in the month. So I've been to 3 meetings today. I love my colleagues, and I thank God every day that God placed me in a place like this at UCLA where creativity is happening and I'm allowed to do creative work. But these were not terribly exciting meetings. I could walk you through the agendas of those meetings, and you'd be fast asleep. It's even though it's true, and it's now. Again, we want boredom in our lives, and we want passion and excitement in our art. Do we really want boredom in our lives? We do. My brother-in-law, who's a lawyer, was here this past weekend, and when I picked him up at the airport, I said, "How was the flight?" And he said, "Boring." What he meant was it was a great flight. It left on time. It came in on time. Imagine another response. Oh, what a great! It was a fabulous flight. For one thing, there was a near miss when we left Stapleton, or whatever the airport is in Denver now. And then there was buffeting and turbulence, and in fact, two of the flight crew were injured on the way over here. And then we blew a tire on the runway, and one of the engines flamed out. I mean, this is not the kind of excitement that we want. We want boredom in our lives and passion in our art.
Can you think of a film that's a mixture? So it's not too real life, sorry, but it...
No, I was going to say most films are mixtures, but not because they try. Mixtures of boredom and interesting. Sure, most films, almost like Boyhood you mentioned, there is some merit in Boyhood. Conceptually it's fascinating, using the same actors and so on, but I don't want a concept, I want a story. I want to get engaged by events that are one related to the next. And there's some of that, to be sure, in Boyhood. I know people I love and respect as tasteful and brilliant people, intelligent people who loved that movie, so there's no wrong or right about it.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hate the movie. I know that doesn't go on the marquee. Didn't hate it. Richard Walter, UCLA. Although that's a pretty big compliment from me. Some people would tell you, people who know me. But the fact is that Boyhood's a perfect example of a movie that's kind of boring and kind of interesting from time to time. What I want a movie to be is constantly interesting. I was totally engaged by Imitation Game from beginning to end. They were able to comment on some very, very weighty and difficult issues without ever getting preachy or intellectual about it. Bullying, homophobia, issues involving war and peace and life and death. Should we tell these people that they're about to you know, that the Nazis are with their U-boats are about to sink this convoy, and we can save all the lives of the people in the convoy that way, but that will also tell the Nazis that we're onto their code, and they'll change the code, and we won't be able to read them anymore, and that'll cost more. These are very interesting questions, and they're asked in a dramatic context without ever becoming a lecture about principles or protocols or anything like that. Now, there's nothing wrong with lectures on principles and protocols, but movie is not the place for that. I sometimes say, I remember I was arguing about the Da Vinci game, the Da Vinci Code when it came out. I was in the media a lot because there was a friend of mine, actually, he's become a good pal of mine, Bill Donahue. He's the head of the Catholic League, and we kept meeting on these talk shows till we became friends. He was opposing the movie, the release of the movie, because it was inaccurate, he said, historically, the way it presented the history of the church, and that it also was inaccurate with regard to the theology, the way it approached the Catholic theology. And my answer to that is, and was on the air, that if I'm hungry and I have a hankering for a tuna fish sandwich, I like to take my time when I say these things, because I imagine people wondering, where is he going with this? If I'm hungry and I want a tuna sandwich, I don't go to the hardware store. And if I'm looking for a lesson in history or a sermon in theology, I don't go to the movies. I'm going to get bad theology, bad history, bad movie. So lectures in theology and history have their place. The place is right here. We're having this conversation on a campus, one of the great world centers of higher learning, the University of California here in Los Angeles. And it's appropriate that there should be, on our 265 acres or whatever we got here in the middle of LA, it's appropriate that there should be lectures on history and sermons in theology, but not in a movie.